Let's go now. Alright. Okay, how would you like to have your vehicle that you just purchased recently last 20 years or 300,000 miles? Well, I am Vernon Jordan, and I am an ASE certified master technician for 15 years. And I would like to take the opportunity to persuade you to use synthetic oil in order to meet your goal, to make that newly purchased vehicle that you just bought to last for 20 years or 300,000 miles. Now, first I would like to explain a little bit how synthetic oil works. Next I would like to explain some of the benefits of using the synthetic oil. And last I would like to provide some examples and some credibility to the industry and companies that also support the use of synthetic oil. So first, synthetic oil is different from conventional oil, that it is not just refined, but it is engineered, which we don't all have to be engineers to understand some few basic things. Simply put, when an engine burns the air and fuel mixture, some leftover deposits are soot, some acid, and oxidized fuel particles. Those particles is what ultimately form engine sludge. Now the engine sludge just builds up in your engine and can eventually cause damage to your engine through bearing wear. So what synthetic oil does is it actually takes all these components, all these deposits that are left over from combustion, and it suspends them in the oil. Now by suspending them in the oil, they're able to be carried to the filter and filtered out, and they're also, when it comes time for an oil change, all those contaminants are taken out the oil drain plug through all the components being inside the oil. So whenever you drain the oil, all the contaminants go out with it. And so when you put a fresh batch of oil in there, you're starting out from fresh and there's no sludge deposits left behind. Now with conventional oil, the sludge deposits don't stay with the oil. They settle out of the oil onto engine components, which ultimately cause excessive bearing wear, excessive engine wear, and excessive deposits that cause a poor performing engine. Now, synthetic oil also provides superior lubrication. By taking all these contaminants and having them filtered out, instead of running that dirty oil through all the bearings and the fine machined engine surfaces in an engine, it filters all those contaminants out, so you have clean oil going through all these bearing surfaces, which is less wear overall. Just to give you an example of what engine oil sludge is, I have an engine right here that I've tore apart that was ran on conventional oil, and as you can see, there's a real thick sludge deposit inside the engine. Now this just easily wipes off, so this is just sitting in there waiting to float around in the engine oil and become part of a bearing surface and damage it. And so with synthetic oil, it continuously takes those small deposits and filters them, whereas conventional oil just deposits them in the engine and causes a buildup. So overall, the synthetic oil provides less bearing wear and prevents the forming of that sludge that I just showed you in the engine that sticks behind on your fingers after a while. Okay, so definitely the biggest benefit is preventing that sludge to make that engine last that much longer, to not cause any excessive bearing wear. Now just an example that I want to show you is I have a couple lifters here. This one is out of an engine that ran on conventional oil, and as you can see, there's a sludgy deposit at the base of it. Inside of it, where it runs on oil pressure, there's also a sludgy deposit. And so inside that lifter, you have this gooey substance right here on my finger. And this gooey substance is what's operating this lifter. So, in my other hand, I have a lifter here that all I've simply done is I've just wiped the excess oil off. This is the same as this lifter here. And this lifter has a clean outer surface. And as you can see on the top surface where the oil pressure rides, it is completely clean. There's no sludge. This is a similar engine, similar mileage, similar age, ran on synthetic oil. So as you can see, there's a big difference on what the synthetic oil carries out of the engine. Less sludge on the bearing surfaces and less sludge on the inside, keeping that lifter working. When this lifter fails, just one little tiny part can cause the entire engine to fail. And so keeping all these components in good working order is going to keep that engine lasting that 20 years. And here's just another example of a rocker arm that is covered with carbon and sludge from conventional oil. And simply next to it I just have a rocker arm that I've cleaned off that have the same components on it, and this is what it's going to look like if you run it on synthetic oil. All these contaminants are going to be carried away and filtered out or drained out of the oil pan. Now I told you earlier that I'm an ASE certified master technician. I've been doing it for over 15 years. But there's also some other experts in the automotive world that also agree with this theory. AMSOL is one of the first producers of synthetic motor oil, and they have been doing testing since the early 1900s when vehicles were made to see if synthetic oils were better than conventional oils, and ultimately came up with the decision that synthetic oils ultimately provide a longer engine life. As well as that, General Motors is also on board now with saying that synthetic oils add longevity to the engine. In addition to that, Tom Jorgensen from the American Car Show, a popular automotive radio talk show, has 35 years experience and also boasts about the synthetics properties able to make the engine last longer. So, in closing, I hope that I've showed you how synthetic oil suspends all the contaminants in your engine oil and carries those out to the filter, carries them out of your engine during an oil change, versus the conventional oil that leaves all this grimy deposits inside your engine versus having a clean engine. And so I would recommend you use synthetic oil just like I do to keep that engine lasting 20 years or 300,000 miles. And so to me, overall, in my vehicle I run synthetic oil, and to me the proof is right here. Keeping that out of your engine. Thank you.